telling Kelsey Plum, her teammate, about her, white privilege and how Paige Becker understands it and blah, blah. A'ja Wilson, the MVP of the WNBA.
Did you see A'ja Wilson's latest comments? She's not just talking about points and rebounds anymore. She's bringing up race, privilege, and why Caitlin Clark is getting all the attention. This isn't your average rookie versus veteran story. Before we move on, I'd like to ask you a small favor. If you appreciate this content, please take a second to like this video and subscribe to the channel. Over 98% of you watch the videos without subscribing. It costs you nothing, but it makes a huge difference to us. So, did you click the subscribe button? Great, thank you so much. Now, back to the video. A'ja Wilson, the WNBA MVP, just called out Caitlin Clark. Can you believe it? An MVP taking shots at a rookie? That's wild. But here's the thing. This isn't just about who's scoring more points. Wilson's bringing up some big issues that have been simmering in the WNBA for a while. You know what's crazier? This clash between Wilson and Clark isn't just about them. It's about the whole future of the WNBA. We're talking about race in sports, who gets attention and why. This is huge, folks. It's like the whole league is at a crossroads, and these two stars are right in the middle of it all. Now, imagine being at the top of your game, breaking records left and right, and still feeling invisible. That's exactly what A'ja Wilson is dealing with. But why is she pointing fingers at a rookie? The answer might shock you. A'ja Wilson, the WNBA MVP, isn't just throwing shade for no reason. She's bringing up some serious issues that have been bubbling under the surface of women's basketball for years. And let me tell you, it's not pretty. Wilson's got a point, and she's not afraid to make it. She straight up said, "You can be top-notch at what you are as a black woman, but yet maybe that's something that people don't want to see." Ouch. That's not just a jab at Caitlin Clark, that's a full-on right hook at the entire system. But wait.
Telling Kelsey Plum, her teammate, about her, white privilege and how Paige Becker understands it and blah, blah. A'ja Wilson, the MVP of the WNBA. Anyway, this old clip has gone viral this week, and everyone's talking about it.
It gets even spicier. Wilson and her teammate Kelsey Plum were caught on camera talking about white privilege in sports. That clip went viral faster than a Caitlin Clark three-pointer. It's like Wilson pulled back the curtain on what's really going on behind the scenes in the WNBA. You want to talk about being overlooked? Wilson just had a season for the ages. She scored over 1,000 points. Let that sink in. Over 1,000 points in a single season. She was named MVP. She was averaging nearly 27 points per game. That's insane. But here's the kicker. All this greatness, and she's still feeling like she's in Caitlin Clark's shadow. Wilson's not mincing words about it either. She said, "It boils my blood when people say it's not about race because it is." That's not just frustration talking. That's years of feeling underappreciated and overlooked bubbling to the surface. But here's where it gets really interesting. Wilson's comments aren't just about Caitlin Clark. They're shining a spotlight on issues that have been lurking in women's sports for a long time. It's like she's saying, "Hey, look at this."
Many of you were the very same ones that was pointing the finger and saying you're racist and we don't want or need your support.
But to me, it was a message being sent to Caitlin Clark.
You're getting what you want, and you should be happy for the lower ratings. So be careful what you wish for.
We've got a problem here, and it's bigger than just one player. Think about it. Wilson's had this incredible season, breaking records, dominating the court. But who's getting all the headlines? A rookie. Now, don't get me wrong. Caitlin Clark is talented. But Wilson's point is, why is it always the white players who seem to get all the attention? It's like Wilson is holding up a mirror to the WNBA and saying, take a good, hard look at yourself. She's challenging the way we think about success in women's basketball. Who gets celebrated? Who gets pushed to the side? These are big questions, and Wilson's not afraid to ask them. You know what's wild? Wilson's not just talking about herself. She's speaking up for all the black women in sports who feel like they're fighting an uphill battle.
I just find this whole thing interesting about the television ratings and who's supporting and now people are leaving. Post Caitlin Clark is the sports version of white flight and gentrification. Then when they leave, the Caitlin flight, oh my God, I can't, what do we do now?
It's like she's saying, "We're here, we're incredible, so why aren't you seeing us?" Speaking of being seen, there's one player who's impossible to ignore right now. Caitlin Clark's making waves, but are they ripples of change or just more of the same old story? Her debut had everyone talking, but not for the reasons you might expect. Caitlin Clark stepped onto the WNBA court with more hype than a blockbuster movie premiere. Everyone was waiting to see if she'd live up to the expectations. And boy, did she deliver, sort of. In her first game, Clark dropped 20 points. That's impressive for a rookie, right? But here's the kicker. She also set a new WNBA record for turnovers, 10 of them. Ouch. But don't write her off just yet. Despite the rocky start, Clark's impact was undeniable. The crowd showed up in droves to watch her play. It's like she brought a whole new energy to the league. People who'd never watched a WNBA game before were suddenly tuning in. That's the Caitlin Clark effect. Now, you might be wondering, what does Clark think about all this attention? She's not shy about it. She said, "I think there's opportunities for every single player in women's basketball." Sounds nice, right? But does that really address the issues A'ja Wilson brought up?
She doesn't play. She's the Tim Duncan of the WNBA. Hey, that's great. But she has to adopt this mindset of, I'm owed this, and you white girls need to back your ass up, give me things I don't deserve, and white girl, you take a backseat to me.
It's like Clark's skating around the tough questions. Let's talk about Clark's rookie season. It was off the charts. She led the league in assists and set a new single-season assist record with 337. That's not just good, that's historic. And her scoring? She averaged 19.2 points per game, breaking the single-season rookie scoring mark. The girl can play, no doubt about it. But here's where it gets tricky. Clark's success is undeniable, but it's also raising some uncomfortable questions. Why is she getting so much attention when players like A'ja Wilson are breaking records left and right? Is it just about skill, or is there something else at play? You know what's wild? Both Clark and Wilson were unanimous choices for their respective awards, Rookie of the Year and Player of the Year. They're both at the top of their game, but the spotlight seems to shine brighter on one than the other. Why is that? It's like Clark's become a symbol of something bigger than basketball. She's bringing in new fans, sure, but she's also become the center of a debate about who gets celebrated in women's sports and why. Is she changing the game, or is she just benefiting from a system that's always favored players who look like her? Don't get me wrong, Clark's talent is real. She's not just hype, but her success is forcing us to look at some uncomfortable truths about the WNBA and women's sports in general. Who gets the magazine covers? Who gets the endorsement deals? And most importantly, why? Magazine covers and endorsements are just the tip of the iceberg. There's a storm brewing in the WNBA, and it's way bigger than Wilson or Clark. This clash? It's about to rip the Band-Aid off some serious issues. But here's the twist. It could be the wake-up call that changes everything. Think about it. The WNBA's been struggling with viewership for years. But now, we've got two superstars bringing in new fans and sparking debates. It's like the league just got an adrenaline shot straight to the heart. Wilson and Clark aren't just scoring points on the court. They're forcing us to talk about race, representation, and who gets the spotlight in women's sports. It's uncomfortable, sure, but it's also necessary. You know what's wild? This debate could actually make the WNBA stronger. Yeah, you heard that right. All this tension? It's bringing attention to the league. People who've never watched a game before are suddenly tuning in. They want to see what all the fuss is about. But it's not just about getting more eyes on the game. It's about who those eyes are seeing. Clark's bringing in new fans, that's true. But Wilson? She's making sure we don't forget about the incredible black athletes who've been holding it down for years. Let's talk about the contrasting narratives here. On one side, you've got Wilson, the established black star.
That's what these young ladies, these fine feminist athletes seem to be asking for and almost begging for. It's the most fascinating and mind-boggling marketing campaign that I can recall. Because basically, they are marketing A'ja Wilson by suppressing anything having to do with the most popular player in the league.
On the other, Clark, the rising white rookie. It's like a microcosm of the tensions within the league itself. But here's where it gets interesting. Despite all the drama, both players actually respect each other's game. Clark called Wilson unguardable. Wilson's acknowledged Clark's talent. It's like they're saying, yeah, we've got issues to work out, but at the end of the day, we're all here to play ball. This whole thing is forcing the WNBA to look in the mirror. Who gets the magazine covers? Who gets the endorsement deals? And most importantly, why? These are tough questions, but they're questions that need to be asked. You know what's crazy? This controversy could be a turning point for the WNBA. It's sparking important conversations about equity and representation. It's making people think about who gets celebrated in sports and why. Clark gets it. She said, "I think there's opportunities for every single player in women's basketball. The more you spread the love, show people, show their talents, show their teams, that's just going to continue to elevate it." That's not just talk. That's a rookie recognizing the bigger picture. But it's not just about the players. It's about the fans, the media, the sponsors. Everyone's got a role to play in shaping the future of women's basketball. This clash between Wilson and Clark, it's like a wake-up call for the whole sport. So yeah, we've got drama, we've got tension, but we've also got an opportunity. An opportunity to have real conversations about race in sports. An opportunity to question who gets attention and why. An opportunity to make the WNBA stronger, more inclusive, and more exciting than ever before. You know what's wild? This clash between Wilson and Clark isn't just about them. It's shaking up the whole WNBA. We're talking big issues here: race, representation, who gets the spotlight. It's messy, but it's necessary. Think about it. The league's been struggling for years, but now? We've got two superstars bringing in new fans and starting important conversations. It's like the WNBA just got a wake-up call. But here's the thing. It's not just about the players, it's about us, the fans. How we watch, who we support, what we demand from the media and sponsors. We've got a role to play in shaping the future of women's basketball. So let me ask you this. How can we, as fans, help create a more fair and exciting WNBA? It's time to step up and be part of the change.